Y'all, this season for the New England Patriots, it has not gone very good so far, but the Patriots might be getting some very good news coming up here because Gerard Mayo just said that the New England Patriots are getting, and I quote, close to a Christian Barmore return. This quote from him comes just about a week or two after Christian Barmore had a tweet over on Twitter, basically putting one of those hourglasses, hinting at that maybe it's only a matter of time before the Patriots get some star play on that defensive line. What is going on, you guys? It's your boy Colby, also known as Patriots Global, back here with another one. I appreciate you guys for clicking on today's video to hear me talk about some Patriots news. Today's video brought to you by BetUS. We'll talk to you guys a little bit later how you can have a little bit of extra fun this football season if you choose to do so. But, like I alluded to, this has been just a rough season so far for the New England Patriots. And more specifically, from a defensive standpoint, I don't think any of us thought that a top 10 unit last year, even with as many bodies as they were down, would take this much of a step back. The Patriots are one of the worst overall defensive units in the entire National Football League. Now, yes, that does also come because of injuries. You're missing guys like Kyle Duggar on a week-to-week basis. You just traded Josh Uche. Jabril Peppers is not playing. Juwan Bentley isn't playing. You traded Matthew Judon. Christian Barmore has been out. But this unit, from coverage to stopping the run especially, to pass rush, has not been very good, but that could all be changing with a return here from Christian Barmore. Now, let's keep in mind, Christian Barmore was a long-term investment that the Patriots made this offseason after he absolutely demolished opposing offensive lines during that 2023 season. Let's keep in mind, the Patriots didn't have Matthew Judon for the majority of 2023. Josh Uche was in and out to where they didn't have him for about half the season, maybe even a little bit more for the season. But that defensive line, that pass rush, still wasn't terrible because you had Keon White and you had Christian Barmore, two guys that are here. But like I said, the Patriots made a big investment with Christian Barmore this offseason. They gave him a 4-year, $84 million contract extension back on April 30th with $41.8 million guaranteed at signing and $31 million fully guaranteed. Those interior defensive linemen that can stop the run, but especially get to the quarterback, are so damn valuable in this league, and they get real money. Chris Jones, Jeffrey Simmons. I mean, we can go on and on. Quinnen Williams, even in the AFC East. These are some of the best interior defensive linemen, and those guys get paid because there's very few of them, and they make an actual contribution. It's one thing when you have good edge rushers that can collapse from the edge, but quarterbacks can still step up in the pocket, stay calm, and make a throw. If quarterbacks are getting pressure within the interior, they have to throw off platform. They have to go out wide. They have to make a play on the run, which a lot of quarterbacks in the NFL still can't do. So having a guy like Christian Barmore is pivotal. And you look at what the New England Patriots have had behind Christian Barmore on that interior, and that's a big reason on why this pass rush has taken a step back. That's a big reason on why this team is struggling. I think the secondary is good. And I think the secondary is better than people give it credit for. But at the end of the day, these corners, these safeties, these linebackers, they're only going to be able to cover for so long until these wide receivers, these tight ends, these running backs out of the backfield, they are going to make a move. Your pass rush has to get there in order to help out the secondary. And you got dogs back there. I mean, you still got Kyle Duggar. You got Christian Gonzalez. You got Marcus Jones. You still have Jonathan Jones. And I think if you can get somebody back like Christian Barmore, we are going to see this defense, this secondary, get a lot better with some pressure up in the interior. Davon Godchaux has looked really, really good for the Patriots so far this season after they gave him a multi-year extension. He has stepped up big time with the absence of a lot of veterans, especially Christian Barmore. So I feel like when they're able to get him back, they're going to have a good 1-2 punch, especially against the run of Christian Barmore and Davon Godchaux. Something we also have to remember is that the Patriots, they went from the second best run defense in the league last year to now being the 26th, currently right now heading into week 10, the 26th best run defense. I should say worst run defense in the entire National Football League. They're giving up about 136.9 yards per game, and they've allowed 10 touchdowns on the ground too. Getting him back will allow the Patriots to do a plethora of different things. The question mark is just going to be, when is he going to return? Before we get on with today's video, though, guys, I do want to give a massive shout out to BetUS. And we got a lot of great information still to talk about here with Christian Barmore, talking about some of his statistics, both in pass rush and against the run, and just how dominant he is and how much of an impact he has for the New England Patriots. But right now, when you guys go ahead and sign up with BetUS, it takes less than 60 seconds. You use the promo code like you see on the screen, YouTube150. You will lock yourself into a limited time exclusive offer of a 150% sign-up bonus on your first deposit, followed by 125% sign-up bonus on your next 2 deposits, all the way up to $2,000. That is a deal on your first 3 deposits. Now, I understand our Patriots, they're not looking so good. They're not looking so good. So I understand if you don't want to bet on them, but you can bet on other teams. You can look at other props, parlays, player props too, like I mentioned. So there's a lot of cool things you can still bet on other than just the Patriots, but BetUS also has NFL futures, the NFL draft. Is Travis Hunter going to be a cornerback or a wide receiver? Who's going to win MVP, coach of the year? Some really cool stuff. But you can also bet on college football, basketball, baseball, horse racing, fighting, entertainment, politics, you name it, they have it. And you can use that sign-up bonus on any of these options. They also can give you a 200% crypto deposit bonus. They have 24/7 personalized service, 365 days a year. You can get a 10% back on your net losses 2 times a year, and BetUS can give you your very own personalized account manager. Not to mention the fact that they also have live wagering on all major games throughout the year. So remember that supporting the sponsors, that support the channel. Guys, please play smart, please pay responsible. Never bet more than you can afford to lose. And if somebody you know or love is dealing with an issue, please reach out and get that help you need. But again, we could not be here doing this channel without the support of BetUS. So massive, massive shout out to them. But like I said, guys, I do want to get into some of these statistics here about Christian Barmore because he exploded onto the scene last year in 2023, which is why he got that big extension from the Patriots this offseason. And again, he didn't just bounce off the scene. He didn't blow up last year because of Judon and Keon White and Uche. No, he blew up because he took a big step forward and became the focal point of that Patriots defense. So let's get into some of these statistics here. So these are, of course, via PFF, and these are from last year. Let me scroll up here rather a little bit. So last year, he had an overall grade of 83.8. That made him a top 10 interior defensive lineman, the 10th best defensive lineman out of a qualifying 215. In terms of pass rush, he had an 84.9 overall pass rush grade, which was 8th among 215 qualifying defensive linemen. And against the run, he was 30th against a qualifying 215 defensive line with an overall grade of 67.8. That number might not look the sexiest. We do know that Christian Barmore is a better pass rusher than he is against the run, but he took a big step forward last year, both in terms of pass rush and against the run. Currently, right now, the Patriots do not have a single defensive lineman. They don't have an edge rusher, but they also do not have an interior defensive lineman that is top 20 in pass rush win rate. And that is a big problem and a big reason on why this team is not getting a lot of pressure on opposing quarterbacks. Now, last year, he also put up 43 solo tackles that ranked 5th among defensive linemen. He had 8 sacks, which ranked 10th out of 215th defensive linemen. His 13 assisted tackles was 22nd out of 215. And his forced fumbles, he had 1 of them. That ranked 7th out of a qualifying 215th. You can scroll down here and look a little bit more of his numbers too. He was 3rd in the NFL when it comes to defensive linemen in batted passes with 5 of them. He had 49 total pressures. That was ranked 14th. He had 7 total hits. That was ranked 23rd. He had 34 overall hurries. That was 13th. His sacks, like I mentioned earlier, 8 of them, that ranks as 10th. And then his overall stops, which is at or behind the line of scrimmage, ranked 4th with a total of 40. I mean, at this point, how can you argue the fact that Barmore is a top 10 interior defensive lineman in the National Football League after that step that he took last year? I'm actually really, really excited to see what he can do in this system. Not just that, but I want to see what he can do with Keon White. Keon White, who's in his 2nd year. Keon White has been very underrated. I understand his discipline has to get a little bit better, but when it comes to pass rush win rate, Keon White has been very, very good. And I'll be really excited to see how that opens up, how Christian Barmore can help open up Keon White when all of the focus is not just on one defensive lineman. Because if you think about it, the only real pass rush specialist that the Patriots have on that entire defensive line is Keon White. So what's it going to look like when teams aren't just solely honing in on him? That's what I'm excited for. Now, the big question ultimately comes down to, when is Christian Barmore going to return? We know that a little bit before training camp, or I should say in training camp, a couple of weeks in there, or just a few days in there rather, he went down with blood clots. And blood clots can really vary from person to person. We also really didn't get a lot of information on the situation. And I understand it's personal, but it's one of those things where medical issues, they really do vary from person to person. It's kind of like concussions. They vary from person to person. This isn't a physical injury where there is a timetable. The hard part here too is that we don't know where those blood clots are. Are they in his leg? Are they in his arm? Are they in his lung? This is very much dependent on when that timetable could be a return for Christian Barmore, especially because you look at David Andrews and what was that, 2020, 2021, where he had blood clots in his lungs and missed the entire season. So I do think we are getting closer and closer. Ideally for me, I think that if you can get Christian Barmore back in some capacity this season, you do it. But because of that investment you made, because of how much you are going to need him down the road, you don't bring him back till he's 120% ready. I don't care if he's 90, 95, 98. You're not going anywhere this season. Like, realistically, you got to play it smart with Christian Barmore. Him coming back, even if he tears it up and he makes the Patriots defense take a massive step forward, this team's not going to the playoffs. We're not going anywhere. So do not bring him back until he is 120% ready, because you need him for 2025 and beyond. But if he's ready, then yes, bring him back, because you want Christian Barmore acclimated to at least some degree entering 2025. Even if he only plays the final game of the season, the final 2 games of the season, the final 3 games of the season, just getting him in a game capacity that can get him a little bit more acclimated as we enter 2025 so we can start on a high note, I think is very, very important. But guys, this is where I kick it off to you. What are your thoughts on Christian Barmore and his timetable being reported that he is just around the bend? We also are hearing that Cole Strange is also right around the bend. So maybe the Patriots getting a little bit of extra reinforcements in the trenches, which is ironically where they're struggling the most. And we know that the trenches are the second most important thing behind the quarterback position. But guys, make sure you guys let me know what you think about this in the comment section below. Subscribe to the channel for all of your New England Patriots news, thoughts, reactions, and breakdowns. Leave a big like on the video because it really, really, really helps support me and the channel tremendously. I do everything here myself, so please, 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 it would mean the world to me if you help support this channel. Another big shout out to BetUS. Make sure you guys use that promo code YouTube150 to get that exclusive offer from them. But guys, until the next one, as always, I appreciate you for watching, and go Pats.